fair amount. I find it interesting whenever I have traveled, I like to enjoy the cuisine. Went to Jamaica, stayed for about 3 weeks several years ago, and there was a little place on the beach, it's called Blackie's. They had the freshest of all the fish, brought it straight in from the ocean, and cooked it on a dirt floor in this little restaurant. It was amazing, just amazing. Traveled Europe. When I was in England, I was blessed enough to be with families. So able to taste a lot of the local cuisine just as the natives would. As a trip that I haven't taken yet, but I would really enjoy to take, I've always wanted to go to Australia.
Australia?
Australia. I want to see the kangaroos in the wild. I want to eat one. There's quite a few things in Australia that are intriguing. The animals mostly. I would love to see a duck-billed platypus.
Oh, yeah.
Crocs I'm not interested in. See enough gators here in Florida. I have no desire to go into those waters. I hear they're rougher than our own gators, so we'll leave that. The koala bears, they only eat eucalyptus. How interesting to walk through a field, wouldn't it? Or would that be a grove of eucalyptus? A forest, perhaps. And see those animals in their native habitat lazying around. To me, I think Australia would be quite the adventure. In my younger years, I used to surf. I was pretty fair at that. Had a great tan. Looked good in a bikini. The surfers that I've seen on TV in competition in Australia, it is exhilarating to see how they ride those waves. I would love to experience that and be on the beach seeing surfers from around the world compete. Thank you.
You think we have time for a couple more? What's our time? One more. This is the big one. This is the big golden opportunity for somebody. Come on now. Christopher. Pick your card. Can you read that to you, please? Who is the most famous person you have ever met? Christopher.
Most famous person I ever met, but doesn't know that I met him, is Joshua Sundquist. He is a Paralympic skier and cancer survivor who wrote a few books of his own, is a motivational speaker. That for the last few years I have virtually been mentored by him, though he doesn't realize this. I've bought half a dozen of his books. I've stalked him on YouTube and Facebook. I've been through his website 100 times. But what this gentleman does is he reaches out to others that have battled cancers and traumas and other horrific experiences in their lifetime. And he sits there and talks about how he went from having cancer at 9 years old and losing his leg and being told he couldn't compete and he couldn't do it, he wouldn't achieve, just sit home, relax, and enjoy yourself, to being a U.S. team Paralympic skier and taking a gold medal at 22 years old. This young man travels the country and he motivates people day after day, just like he did to me. I too am a cancer survivor. And they told me, just enjoy what you got, you probably won't be here to see 18 years old. I sit home for 6 months, I find this guy on the internet. And I think, what am I going to do with myself? You know, I'm not going to be here to see 18, that's 4 months away. By the way, I'm 34 years old and have 2 kids, what do the doctors know? But this gentleman, who I've only emailed twice, and I've actually talked on the phone once, but he still doesn't know who I am, has made a profound impact on my life that brought me here to Toastmasters with you guys this evening because of my hope to become a speaker and change the lives of others. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. This is a point in the meeting where I feel that we really, truly learn. It's the evaluation part of the meeting. Most of us as Toastmasters listen carefully to what the speaker says and how he says it to deliver it. Our focus is on improving the delivery of each and every Toastmaster as part of this club. So when you hear the assigned evaluator evaluate the speaker, think in your own mind what your evaluation is, and then compare your mental evaluation with that of the person giving the verbal evaluation. You learn from that. My goal as General Vice President of Education is to help every member become a superb evaluator. For I believe by doing that, they become potentially a superb speaker. The first member of our evaluation, and the only evaluator at this time, is Advanced Communicator Silver, Advanced Leader Bronze, Patricia Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, dignitaries, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and most especially Armin. Thank you for being here as our keynote speaker for this celebration meeting. It is always a pleasure to hear you speak. I am assuming that this presentation from the manual Communicate on Video is perhaps the first one that you have done in this manual. It's Project 1, Straight Talk, is that correct?
No.
It's not? Okay. Well, that assumption was wrong. But the objective for that talk was to effectively present an opinion or viewpoint in a short time. And you certainly met that objective. The elements of an editorial, which is what this was, are to state a cause, affirm conviction, evidence, reasoning, and logical development. Those are the key points of an editorial. It must be brief. You are to make only one point, which you did, focusing on the 9-dash line, which was the very title of your talk. This was a direct video presentation where you're usually seated, which you were, sitting straight in a chair, poised and confident. Everyone would agree that you appeared that way. You even assigned a floor manager to direct you when to begin. I like that. So what would I suggest for improvements? And normally in our evaluations, as Linda mentioned, we sandwich a lot of wonderful positive things, some suggestions if it's someone new, one suggestion, maybe two at the most. But Arbeth is probably the best speaker in our whole club. And so because this material is unfamiliar with the rest of our group, I wanted to emphasize a few things that the manual suggested. It said to use a script to help you, but that you should be well enough knowing the material to be able to give it without reading it a lot. It was to look directly at the camera, which they said if you don't have one, if you're not video recording, to simulate one with perhaps a video camera on a tripod. But you are to look directly at that camera. You are not to look at any other person or any other people around, which you didn't. You did, but you looked at the computer most of the time. The rate of your voice, Armin. Because part of giving an editorial is to be so concise in your verbiage, to make it so clear and concise because you are limited by time. It's not to speed up the rate of your talk, but to craft it in such a way that it can be easily followed in a logical manner, which it was logical, but I couldn't get it as quickly as you were talking, and I'm not familiar with political nature of China. Those were my suggestions for improvement. I want to see you perform again with this video presentation and record it next time so we can really analyze it and go through perhaps as a club. Would you do that sometime? Yes. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Patricia. Now, I'm going to find out how well my team listened. The first member of my team that will report out is our timer, conference communicator Jerry Waters. Jerry?
Okay, our main speaker, Arvis, his speech was 2 to 4 minutes. He was at 3 minutes. Our evaluator, Patricia Wagner, she was at 3 minutes, 46 seconds, a little bit over time. For our table topics, Arvis did 31 seconds, and I teased him, he was supposed to do it to the green. Fred Clark was 2 minutes, 2 seconds. James Wallace was 2 minutes, 15 seconds. And it's Lynn, right? Lynn was 2 minutes, 35. You did good. And Christopher, you were 1 minute, 36 seconds. That's my report.
Thank you very much. Next member of our team is our word grammarian, mass communicator Silver, Jesse Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. 2 people used the word, yourself, John Ryan, and James Wallace. Anybody else? Okay, I didn't miss anything. And as far as the grammarian part went, I didn't hear any miscommunications.